the collective position of the signatories to the letter, and we will continue to write, we will continue to talk about this issue, because we want it to be ventilated. We want to know what exactly is happening. We want to understand any decisions that are ultimately made, because at the end of the day, that's the importance of informed decision making, that we understand how decisions are arrived at. I will share a couple of things from the letter, Brian, in that even if you look at the executive summary that the developer put forward on this project, we read it and we don't see that it appears to justify an expansion of the cruise tourism market. And it doesn't appear that there's any indication that there will be an increase of direct or indirect cruise revenue contributions to the national economy. Rather, our read of it is that on the face, all it would do is move or displace jobs from currently where they are, held by Belizeans, to maybe another part of the city, hopefully where they can be held by Belizeans. It's also that ultimately, I think the concern is that this scenario would shift the power dynamic away from Belizeans. And what we see maybe happening is that somehow the cruise companies are being placed in a position to create their own economic environment conducive to their own profit margins of the cruise lines. And that's fair, that's what they're into. But I think ultimately all of us as Belizeans have the responsibility to ensure that this project and other projects will always positively and meaningfully impact local investment, local jobs, and local market conditions, because ultimately that is what our priority is, that these are national benefits that are derived to Belize and to Belizeans, as opposed to anybody else. So we really don't see that fragmenting the existing cruise market isn't justified, and it shouldn't outweigh any of the environmental or social costs to the country. Ultimately, the onus is on all of us as Belizeans to make sure that we are looking at what the concerns are, that we're listening and hearing what the government has put forward, that we're looking at what the developer has put forward, and we will wait to see what the decision of the National Environmental Appraisal Committee is on this. As you know, we took 4 pages to say it because there's a long list of concerns, and there are several questions that are pending, and we think that before ultimately any decision is made, that all of those have to be addressed. So the health concerns, the questions about the legality of the process itself, in terms of, we want a paper trail, how did we get here? Because, I think there are still some pending questions in terms of, if a EIA has been rejected, of that needing to go to tribunal versus starting a new process. So we want clarity on those things, and then we will decide where we want to go next. I think the government will decide where it wants to go next, and the developers will determine where they go next on this. But I think, it's unfortunate that these conversations are always being pitted as some type of controversy and anti-development, because these are the types of robust conversations that we need to have to make sure that when we're making decisions, that we have all the information, we have all the concerns, we have all the questions on the table, and we make the best decision for Belize. Because ultimately, everybody will come with their own agendas. We need to make sure that collectively as Belizeans, we are pushing for the Belize agenda and making sure that all of these projects benefit Belize and Belize's development and Belize's long-term sustainable future.